Then we go to address. Well, we need address 1 up there, so we'll move that up there. Click the arrow in there. City's lined up already. Last name's lined up, but we need the arrow. State's lined up and has the arrow. Then we need postal code and zip. Click the arrow. Phone's lined up. And full name is a calculation over in here. We don't really want to import it over here because we have no full name field. So we won't do that. And over here we have an address to field, but none over here, so we don't need to import that. Email's not over here. Date of birth is not over here. And we have these auto enter fields, which you probably wouldn't likely import into anyhow because they automatically enter data for you. So once you've looked over the list and make sure that everything's lined up, and it looks like it is, then you can go ahead and click import. But we really should look at some other options here. First of all, you want to look at your field mapping. This is just a little help section. We've already seen that that arrow is for importing field. This means do not import it. And then we have some other options here, and they'll show up later if you change this. Your most common option is to add new records. You're importing, you want brand new records with these. You could change to update existing records in found set. That means that whatever found set of records you have on the target and whatever found set you have over here in the source, it's simply going to take these and write over these. And that can be helpful if you forgot to import something, let's say. Let's say you imported everything and you forgot to import the last name. Well, you could then choose just to import the last name and uncheck all these and import it over that same found set. But not, the most useful feature in the world. But update matching records in found set is extremely useful. This is synchronization. It will allow you to use this match records based on fields. So when you click on this, it'll go ahead and toggle between a third option that allows you to say, this is the field I want to match on. It might be a social security number or maybe an ID or something that says these two records are the same. So it logically and intelligently goes through and says, well, this record matches with this one. You don't have to have them in the same order. So we'll go over that later. It's a very handy little feature. We're just going to add new records right now. So let's go ahead and click OK or click import here. And this little dialog comes up. Perform auto enter options. And remember, we have our timestamps and our account stamps. We want to make sure that we check that, or otherwise those will remain blank on import. So we'll click import. And before we do that, we'll talk about this dimmed area. This is about repeating fields. And repeating fields aren't really used that much in FileMaker anymore. Certainly not for data entry. And so if you have a flat file for a really old version of FileMaker that didn't support relationships, you might use this because you'll have a repeating field and you need to split it into separate records. But we're not going to go over that because we're designing something from scratch and you won't use these repeating fields. So you pretty much will never use this feature here. So we'll click import. It'll give us a little summary. The most important thing is that we have no errors. So we'll click OK. And you see now we have 41 records of 43. The two records we had originally are not in the found set. And you can see that over here with this little icon here, this little pie chart as people call it. It's not really a pie chart. It indicates that you have in the light green, those are all your found records. The dark green is how many records you don't have in your found set. And together they make all your records. So the light green is the 41, the 2 is the dark green, and altogether it's 43. So you're going to have to learn how found sets work. They're very important. When you find or sort or print or export or do just about anything in FileMaker, it can be affected by the found set, and that's what makes it different than a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets aren't very good at making found sets. Databases are extremely good, and it makes it very powerful. So the reason why you have the 41 records you just imported in a found set is because you may want to process something on it. You may want to go ahead and put in, let's say, the same company name on all those records. So it makes it easy because you have them all in a found set. So just realize you have that, and while we're talking about this, notice that if we click this, it'll change the found set to the 2, the ones that we weren't looking at before. And you can click it again, and so that shows omitted. It changes the found set. It's a really nice little feature we'll go over a little bit more in the future. So the important thing is you can get all your data at any point into your database using any kind of format that FileMaker supports, and it supports most of them. You won't have any trouble with that. Constantly get that data in there and get it imported and be able to work with it in a database fashion.